Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, we're doing another spectating series, and it looks like we already got a full pred team in this lobby. What's different though, is that we're gonna look for the worst possible team. So meaning we're gonna go look at a POI right now, and normally what we do, I'm actually 3-stacking right now, we're gonna purposefully land on a team that we believe isn't very good, and we're gonna use as much movement as possible and spectate them. So everything bad that we say, we're always gonna counter with a potential tip and how they can get better. I have Crony here with me, and I have Nix as well, helping out in today's video. Crony's going to be talking. Nix, I guess it depends on how shy you are. You're always welcome to hop in and say something.
I don't have much to say.
It's all good. But we're going to be giving a lot of tips. So we're not grabbing any guns, no guns. We're going to run at them, okay? Now, the idea behind this is hopefully we can get them a little bit confident, and then we'll see what they do from here. And then we're going to spectate them. We're going to watch them. We'll see if they happen to be really good or if they happen to be really bad. What's interesting is why I 3-stacked is I wanted to see a team with a higher MMR. I think they're above me.
Oh, yeah. They're shooting.
Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we... I'm just going to run up on them.
Yeah, I'm climbing.
Oh, they're good. They're actually not bad.
Ooh, I'm getting shot in the back. Ooh, do I get the swap?
I'm gonna reposition. Let me see if I like reposition and hide and see what they do. Let's see here. Let's see. We might actually have a pretty decent team to spectate. They're chasing me. What do I do?
I'm getting finished.
Okay, there we go.
Tragic.
Now the next one we landed a lot on the outskirts, so the next one we're gonna land really hot and see what happens. Now let's spectate them. Let's take a look. We're actually got a pred team. What are the odds?
Right away,
what are the odds, actually, we get a pred team? Because I was like, they weren't bad. What does that say for ranked in the MMR, you know? Because you know what's crazy? We've been rolling a lot of lobbies. And, I mean, to be fair, did this take him a while to eliminate us? What were your thoughts? I didn't really...
It's one pred, the other ones are not. So it might be a solo queuer is the one pred.
It's possible. I can see that.
The bang was hitting shots. There was the caustic was shooting a nemesis at me in the back, but they were not hitting very many shots. So
yeah, they had a nemesis and a havoc. So watching the squad, and we see their comp. They got a pretty defensive comp. You know, I mean, running caustic. Does that mean that they intend to play passive? You know, it's really interesting whenever you see somebody play a defensive legend in the current meta, because playing defensive on the current meta, I mean, I honestly think that the best thing to do is just run lobbies down. I mean, Crony, Anita, and I wanted to get Anita for this episode, but I think she slept in. And the reality is that I think we won, what, 4 games consecutive last night with like 20+ kills almost every single time. It was really insane.
Our lowest squad kills was 17 yesterday.
So it's interesting when we look at this and we see their teams. Like, I thought that this team would be a little bit more scared or passive. I mean, they played it safe. I wonder what they were thinking as well. Like, how come this team isn't grabbing any guns? They aren't doing anything? And what their honest thought process was. Like, now they got some kills that are under their belt, and they probably thought, wow, that was really easy. I also don't see them pushing anything at the same time. But this was me. I would definitely go push, but at the same time, this definitely gets you a lot more LP. I think the system currently has a lot of flaws in it. We're about to reach, by the way, 1 million people at Masters, which is definitely a major problem that we do see.
Might be there already at 1 million.
So comment down below what you guys think about 1 million people. And then running into a pred, I mean, we ran into a pred. Our lobbies are... I don't know if they're necessarily stacked, or is because it's all supposed to be based off of MMR, which is why I did this purposely. I wanted to see if we could find a bad team. And the reason why we decided to say, is this a bad team on the outskirts, it means that they intend to play more passive, right? If you land, let's say, Dome, if you land Thermal, you know, on the outskirts, you're not landing hot. Your intention right away is not to fight. Unless you're getting contested, of course. But, of course, you know, they landed it pretty predominantly on loot, and they decided to rotate, and they played it safe. I mean, now they're just rotating, and they are in zone, so there's no reason to leave zone either. So I'm kind of curious what we're going to see in terms of the squad. I'm glad, you know, a plus side, some positives that we can take away from this as well is the fact that maybe this team won't rat. You know, my fear is that we were going to run into a team, and they were going to go 3-man stack and hide into a corner. Right? How many times, Crony, have we seen that this season with endless amounts of people just
oh my god,
hiding?
I saw that yesterday. There was a team trying to horizon lift on the cliff yesterday.
I didn't even know that was a place you could hide.
Yeah.
I thought it was out of bounds up there, but somehow people could be
I've
up
learned
there.
so many new rat spots. Like, and I mean, I'm not that far removed from doing like some competitive play where like the solo ratting is like a legit strategy to like salvage points, and I'm seeing rat spots I've never seen in competitive be used.
And by the way, Crony is a good friend and somebody I've been coaching, as well as his significant other, Anita. So I know Anita, I know Crony, and they've come a really long way, and they've improved immensely. It's fascinating to see this whole rank split. How many people don't fight? This definitely has to be solo, by the way. The only reason I think you made a really good call that this person's solo, because they're playing, but they're so far ahead of their team that it's unreal. So I think what we got is a solo queue pred playing with two, I guess, newer masters.
Yeah, they're only 25k.
You could say that they're carrying them, maybe, but
I would say for sure the Bloodhounds knew, because they have diamond badges.
I didn't even look at the badges. That's a good point.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, wherever I can get information on them.
That makes sense, because this person's so far removed from the squad, and we are seeing a lot of people, because it's about time spent, which is also probably the bad side about this rank system. But also, I guess if you want to stay fresh, continue. Big tips, by the way, for everybody, is to stay fresh in your fundamentals. Don't forget about positioning. Don't forget to play with the squad. I'm kind of curious how this is going to play out now. Look how far they are. What if they go camp? What if they go camp right now? That's actually one of the scary parts, because in the spectating series is going to be extremely boring, and then people are going to realize the rank season is actually completely flawed and busted. I mean, I try not to be controversial on the channel at all, but at the same time, if I have opinions and thoughts, I'm going to say them. I do think that even at the start of the season, I still stand behind the fact that I do run into less cheaters. I guess you could say I run into people with my same MR. I mean, this guy's pred, so... I mean, you know, right? It's kind of hard to say. But it is interesting. I mean, they're catching up. But they are playing so outside of zone. But at the same time, if you were solo queuing, if I were to give you tips, I would kind of just go with the pacing and make sure that you want to get LP. So it's not like I fault this individual for doing this at all, you know? They seem like they know what they're doing. Can you tell if they're on roller or MNK? Because Crony is a roller player, by the way. I'm on MNK.
The Bang? Or just
the Bang.
any of them? It's hard to tell right now.
One movement I saw looked very roller, but it was a little hard for me to tell. Even a little bit of a watch.
Laser sight, level 3.
I don't know. I guess I'll have to see them in their first fight.
Yeah.
Now, it's because I get a lot of people who watch roller players on my channel, and I are on roller. Excuse me. What tips would you provide a roller player in ranked? Because I feel like the one thing that's missing on the channel is a lot of content, me giving tips to controller players. And the reason why I don't do that content, and to be honest, because I don't play roller. But if you were, Crony, telling just people tips and what has helped from me coaching you, what would you say is the best tips you can give to a controller player? Like top 3 right off the top of your head.
Top 3, definitely be aggressive, like space control. Like, I know it's like the touchy subject of aim assist. Like, I know a lot of controller players get kind of defensive about aim assist, but it exists. It's there. It is an advantage, and to not recognize that and to not use that is a mistake that a lot of roller players will make. Understand you have aim assist. Understand it is your advantage, and use it. Don't let your advantage slide. So be aggressive on your space, push up, get into close range fights as much as you can. Now, that doesn't mean just run into the open and feed face until you get up close, but when you do get up close, like, let the aim assist sing, so to speak.
Like we were watching this Bangalore before we get into tip number 2, we kind of see them just running out, but they're looking for information, right? So when we say the word scaling, working your way into a fight, we're talking about going cover to cover. So, okay, we got cover here, got cover there. Like almost like you always have a place to kind of retreat and fall back to, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like if you watch any high level roller, I always default to like pro play, because obviously those are the players trying to min max, like be the best they can. And like any roller that's in pro play is that entry fragger. They're the one leading the charge, taking the space, securing space for their team, because they recognize, like, in close range I have an advantage, so I'm gonna push the pace. I'm gonna push up on the other team's space and use my aim assist to basically secure that front line spacing for my team. and it puts out so much pressure up close.
What would you say is your tip number 2?
Tip number 2 would be, I would emphasize it for controller players, because I've noticed controller players tend to be more sloppy on it, is cover. Just being close to cover. It is a little bit of the roller stereotype of wide swinging everything, because again, the aforementioned aim assist, the roller confidence, you know, we know we're gonna hit shots, so we tend to wide swing things. Don't fall into that trap, because that leads to a ton of unnecessary damage, and you might secure a knock up close if you wide swing something, but if you just took a ton of damage that was unnecessary, then you're pulling
it
back
leads to
from
the
a
dark
fight that
side. Don't go to the dark side.
You could have stayed in. Yeah, you could have stayed in that fight and maybe secured a knock and a crack or something else. Like, the less damage you take, the more uptime you have. That's something I've always preached whenever someone asks me for tips right away, is less damage taken means more time shooting.
Exactly,
So
more damage. Now, would you say in tip number 3 before we get into this first fight here? Some damage there. Still can't tell if they're MNK or roller. It's kind of crazy.
I felt roller. There was no jitter aim.
That's true.
A pred player should know how to jitter aim.
That's a good point. I mean, that's some good recoil control though.
Yeah,
or if it's roller.
They wouldn't run a havoc.
I mean, maybe it's just a testament that they're just very confident, you know?
Yeah.
They got a great angle here. I mean, they got pretty much a nice, you could say almost a head glitch area, you know? If they needed to back up. They're kind of showcasing more presence right here, just to run up. We look at the teammates. Let's take a look at where the caustic is. They're not really putting any pressure. The downside of what we're seeing in this team is that they got split focus fire. They're looking at completely different stuff, so it leads me to believe that they're not on comms. So if you're playing with your teammates, a tip I would provide, you know, turn this into a positive, is to say focus what your team is looking. There we go, the pings. You know, there's some pings coming in of what to focus. Now the caustic, if you look, is standing out in the open. There's definitely a skill discrepancy here. Now if you look at the pred player, is definitely utilizing the height and holding more angles of where they can position towards. So there is a massive skill discrepancy between a pred and a master player still, when we look at it, especially when we think that there's over 1 million master players at this level.
Yeah, Bang's roller.
Definitely a good roller.
They stood in loop.
Yeah, so yeah, and the Bang is definitely roller. Massive recoil control. What would be your tip for the roller players to struggle at range, by the way?
Oh, the fire range. Fire range is your only tool that we basically have, especially on console. If you're a console player, like, the fire range is the only tool you have to practice.
How many minutes or even hours would you say that you would need to spend in the test range, based on, because I remember that was my feedback to you, is to spend a lot of time in the range practicing your distance, because it's important. Look at this pred player having to take shots at distance before he can work his way in. So based on my feedback to you, what would you say is a realistic number now that you have a better grasp on it?
Per day, I would say like a 15 to 20 minutes, like before you play. Like, something that's realistic is, like, before you play, any day you're about to go play, dedicate like the first like 15 minutes to go into the range, and then don't just shoot just to shoot. Have a purpose in the range. I've always said that, like, purposeful practice is more than just, it means a lot more. Like, if you're purposeful and you're doing something with a purpose for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, that is way better time spent than an hour just shooting to shoot. And what that would look at range is sitting in the back by the spawn tunnel and shooting the targets and trying to get critical hits on, like, all the blue targets in the range, using different ranged guns, different optics, because optics do change how you perceive, like, bullet drop and all that.
For people
and then
struggling,
also setting,
I don't mean to interrupt you. For people struggling to understand, I just want to reinforce this thought with everybody. As I've been hitting the gym a lot, if you go to the gym and you have your set routine that you're supposed to do for that day, you'll be more diligent and a lot better at it. So what Crony is definitely saying is just go in with a mission for that day. I'm going to practice range with this gun for this day. I'm going to do this with this gun for this other day. And have a purpose and a mission when you do it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I want to make sure people understand it.
Yes, even before the firing range change, I remember the one time we were queuing ranked and somebody was swinging you and all I had was an iron sight G7 and I missed my shots and it led to you dying. and
I don't die.
I remember saying like all I had was I remembered it. I anytime that my mechanics have failed me, I remember and I mental note it to know what I need to work on in the range. And there, my mechanics failed me.
Shout out to
And
people
I
like
remember
Verholst, because he's a person who takes that to heart, you know?
his firing range drills, not to plug somebody else on YouTube, but he does have a video that he lists out like firing range drills for controller, and they are actually really good.
Who is it? I don't mind giving shout outs. You know, hey, listen, they're good, they're good.
Verholst has
Oh, yeah,
them.
okay.
He's got them on his channel.
I didn't know he did that. That's
but I mean,
awesome.
yeah.
You know, real quick, I want to point out, because, you know, it's very interesting that this Bangalore's playing very good at off angle and covering the teammates. I want to highlight the fact that the Bloodhound and the Caustic fall into the trap of just sitting in the building without doing much pressure. Now, I would say the Blood isn't really that bad, by the way. The damage is actually still higher than the Pred player, but their positioning speaks volumes of what their intention is, which I find fascinating. There's always room for improvement, and I think people are failing to understand that there's still a lot of players that have a lot of room for improvement. Even at this level, what we're watching, there's still a lot of errors, a lot of mistakes being made in terms of what they're pushing, the angles that they're holding, how much damage can they dish out, what are they doing, how much are they hiding, how much are they occupying space. That's a good ult, by the way. I'm kind of curious what we're gonna. Oh wow.
Ooh, the Loba.
They weren't watching. They didn't choose to watch one side or the other. That's the downside of this, but they do have a good flank here. They almost got it. I think they can get it. Now, the Bloodhound should not overpeak, needs to heal immediately. A little late on the heal, or go for the armor swap. One of the two. And then they need to go push together. Also, Chubby is taking a very long time healing. Go for the armor swap. Still taking way too long healing. This is a Masters player, by the way. Now, I will highlight that they are using Caustic Barrels and they are holding. But the downside of this is that they're taking way too long to reset. This should have been their fight, honestly, with the pressure they were keeping. I know that the Pred player wasn't using positioning at their angle. I don't think they were expecting to get wide swung right in that moment, though, which is kind of the downside that happened there. But their healing time, I want to stress their healing time, is so slow still. And it's always areas to improve. Everyone who's... I feel like a lot of people stop watching the Spectating series, which is why I kind of changed the title. I said, we're going to go look for players that need areas of improvement, and which is going to be everybody. I think that so many people are in Masters right now losing the fundamentals and forgetting what it means. I mean, otherwise, you know, Crony and Nita and I wouldn't be rolling lobbies with 25, 30 kills in the lobby. People are just getting sloppy, you know, and that's the biggest concern I have, and I want people to understand that while the rank system is not perfect right now, it doesn't mean that your gameplay can't get better. Got to have something to shoot for, and I think a lot of people are struggling with to shoot for as well, which is, I guess, kind of the concern. There's a lack of pressure from this team. I get that they have zone, but they are pretty much just held up here without wanting to put any pressure on the outside. They do have zone coming towards them.
That's why the Bang died there. They came in here, and it's fine to hold this. You have Caustic, like play to his strengths, but holding a building, and this is a trap that I see a lot of players fall into. Holding a building doesn't mean turtling into the building.
No head glitcher, by the way.
Yeah.
On the Caustic.
Holding a building means... Ooh.
Take out the ult. Take out the ult. Why doesn't anybody ever shoot that thing? I don't understand. Why would you turn away? Man, they're just... I don't know.
It's just free, letting so many teams play right outside their building. But anyway, what I was saying, holding a building doesn't mean turtling in the building. Like, yeah, set up the traps, anchor the spot.
On roller, you can tell.
But you
back up.
He armor swapped. But you got it.
There's a sheer panic. You just got to go for one way or the other. It's not a...
Yeah.
This is the downside of this, is that this isn't necessarily awful. I will put a positive that they're trying to anchor so the other teams can make a mistake. I will say that. But also, you don't want necessarily random number generation to be against you, where you don't really know. At one point, honestly, any one of them could have died here. Might as well just go finish that at that point. Oh, they left. They're just letting them get away. It hurts. And again, I'm a very aggressive player as well. I like to make sure we occupy space and fight things. I just don't like things being out of my control. And whenever they pretty much let that variable of things be out of their control. Any one of those teams could have overextended. Granted, it's very scary and hard to push a Caustic, but do not let the variable work against you, because they may not get better positioning. They're not getting any additional kills. right? If this is ALGS, if you want to play at a higher level or pred level, then you can't necessarily make these mistakes. You know, you got to push out for something and make a play. That Lobo is low. Why not all 3 wide swing on it? Why not occupy space on the outside and go take a look at what's going on? You have the resources here at your disposal, and granted, it is going to pull towards you, but use it as your fallback, not as your frontline defense. And can you kind of reinforce the thought of what I'm talking about there, Crony?
Yeah, so I kind of paused because I kept fighting every time I tried to say it, but yeah, holding a building isn't just turtling in the building. Like, you set your anchor point for sure, which for them would be this building, but you have to project outward because you don't want teams running up for free. Because like, look, like if they look outside, there's open space between them and the nearest cover on their building. So if you're looking out, if a team tries to push up, they have to cross that open space, and that's free. Like right now, that what the caustic just did there, shooting the guy that was running across outside.
Yeah,
that was all free damage. You have to project outward because if you let a team just take your space and kind of dominate,
so free. This is so free.
Yeah,
I'm starting to itch
if you
because I'm
let a
like,
team-
I want to capitalize on that moment.
I know. If you let a team just dominate your space outside, you're not controlling when the fighting happens anymore. You're kind of like letting the other team take control and just relying on, oh, I'm caustic, they won't push. But not every team's gonna just respect that.
I mean, we got to end up watching a good team, and remember the champion squad was a full pred team as well. That is a good cross in the caustic, by the way. That was a good angle to hold. They're both holding 2 different spots, and I don't think, honestly, I would still say the caustic should hold the other side. And I don't know if they did that subconsciously or knew, but it is a really strong angle. Very nice, very nice. That was a good cross. That was a good cross. Remember, everything bad that we say, we always reinforce with something positive. So we ended up watching the winning team.
Yeah.
The team that played safest.
Winning team.
I know, isn't that interesting? That's kind of crazy. So what is it? What does this tell us? What I kind of came up with a theory that the bad teams are the ones playing on the outskirts, but we just saw a team win. Are the bad teams the ones that are in the center? Let's go find out. Let's go drop hot in the middle of the map and see if we see people that are absolutely clueless. Maybe the teams that are smarter are just abusing of what is going on with Masters and Pred, and they're just playing it safe, you know? I mean, to be fair, I guess we kind of land on the outskirts, not to the outer ends of it, but on a good POI. You know, I would say like Dome is not a good POI. I would say that because it's so far away, unless you intend to third Big Mod or Stacks, right? Landslide is not a good POI. Trials, I mean, it is a decent one, but I mean, I don't know. I kind of
is good. I think it's a little lackluster in ranked because of how far it is from everything. It's definitely a good POI. There's a ton of loot, but ranked, I guess it depends on your goal in ranked, right? Like our goal in ranked is to go and fight. So something far away from the action, we're a little biased in saying it's not good.
But at the same time, technically we do kind of the same thing. You know, we're in the middle, but we pick and choose. Technically that team did pick and choose. So I'm trying to, I guess, you know, like I'm learning as we keep doing this. I had a theory coming into this video, and then we just saw a team win. Right, so then my theory is wrong, and I'm more than happy to admit that I'm wrong. Now, I'm kind of curious now when we go hot drop, let's go Monument. Let's go see Monument and just go run around like psychopaths and see, are the worst teams in the center? You know, are they just so far high up on their ego that they're just not as good? Is that what we're looking at here? I don't know. I guess let's find out.
I will say, even though that team won that game that we just saw, they could have gotten so many more kills.
Yeah, and also they could have gotten pushed and shoved. They kind of got a little lucky. The fact that teams didn't go in on them.
Into it. They played a great spot, and they were playing Caustic, so they played a bit to the strength of Caustic, but
yeah,
it's like you did good, but they could have done it so much better.
Okay, remember, no guns.
Yep.
All right, let's give this team this the confidence boost. Yeah. Hey, look, another fellow Watson. Ah!
Oh, I got shocked. Oh, he didn't shoot me.
I'm gonna at least heal. I think now they're getting shot. That Watson was pretty much doing what you see in every Watson YouTube video. Shout out to Lamek. Just put fences and just keep wall bouncing up and down. See if I grab this. See if anybody comes over towards me. Oh no! I was picking up banner. GG's. Now let's see. Is this going to be the winning team again? Is this how that's going to work?
I got 1 mag both rounds, so.
Oh wow. I mean, we got some. Looks like a little bit of a split here. You know, we got somebody with 45,000 points. Yeah, that's not bad. It means they've been playing ranked a little bit. D1. You know. Sorry, I'm just spamming looking around just at their various ranks.
Yeah.
Not a bad team. That Watson definitely knew what to do, going up in the center, holding the spot, right? I mean, how many YouTube videos have we seen to do that, right? See if they use cover as they work their way in. One person is cracked. Whiffing a little bit there, but he does have a nice head glitch, the Watson. Just unfortunately meant the damage on the PK. I think they could still win this. Oh, so close. The other guy's flush. They're so close to clutching this out. Let's see if this Watson can do it. Nice. One more. All they need is one more. Now they play for the 1v1. Big damage. Uses cover. Very nice. This Watson's actually pretty good. Look at that. Played it patient. Whiffed a little bit, but that's okay. Notice the positioning that they did use was pretty positive in how they held the angle. Man, we've actually kind of, I don't know if this is luck. I was really anticipating this video to see some players that actually had no idea what they were doing. I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of impressed. Maybe it's just the MMR 3-stacking and then, you know, us throwing the game purposefully. Maybe we're giving them confidence. Maybe not. Maybe they just know what they're doing. I don't know. But nonetheless, it is interesting to see. So the Watson, I want to highlight some positive that the Watson did here. They used the head glitch right above, and while they kept whiffing, they kept peeking back and forth. Even when the Watson saw the other individual push, they went right back into cover and then re-peeked out after their reload. Keeping track of your reloads is really, really important when peeking and re-peeking. And the fact that the Watson didn't run away, I mean, there's no chance a Watson is really going to be able to run away in these scenarios. But the fact that they played it so patiently and waited for the opportunity, because you can whiff shots, but positioning is always king. I think that's what we just saw here is a great example and testament to it, right? I titled this video Spectating Bad Ranked Players, but are we just spectating the other teams that are just bad, or are we just highlighting the fact that we're bad running at them? I don't know. I didn't know what to expect with this episode, but I thought that players were going to play really bad. That just was my theory, you know. I guess because we've just been running lobbies down that I don't know. Maybe we've just been playing out of our minds recently. Who knows? Ah, the Nemesis. I see this Watson's a person culture as well. Absolutely broken gun, in a good way, in a bad way. I don't know. I guess it depends on what receiving end you are of it.
Yeah.
Let's fight here.
Yeah, if I take the 105 to the head, I'm saying it's bad. But if I shoot the 105, it's good.
I will say, from everyone we've spectated, we are a lot more aggressive than most of these teams when we push. We would already had an evac tower running to the next POI to go fight somebody.
Yeah, so far both teams have stopped to craft.
Yeah, not a bad
Where
thing.
us, if we have crafter, at the most, we just craft our armor if we're still on white.
Yeah, minimum. I mean, there are instances where we craft bats. I guess it depends. I'm trying to compare what we do. And this person's got some movement, this Watson.
Yeah, they tried to mantle jump. They didn't hit it, but they tried to.
Yeah, you know, practice makes perfect. They're taking it very seriously. It could be the time of day. Maybe that's what we're looking at, because this is on 4th of July. Maybe just the sweats are playing. I don't know. I know that our MMR is probably pretty high, because, you know, we don't... You know, we play a lot, so...
Yeah.
I mean, we've already seen the champion squads in the prior round were just Preds, you know, and then we see this one, they're still really good players.
Shield battery here.
But, you know, the whole point was to spectate, and this has definitely been a lot more interesting overall, kind of seeing this. I don't really know what to think. I kind of want to do another one next week and kind of see what if we actually run into bad players the following week, you know? And I kind of compare, you know, like I leave a like down below. Comment down below if you want to see this again and see what batch we get, because this is why I don't do cuts. You probably saw early cuts as I was trying to adjust the volume a little bit and try to get it right. I tested it beforehand, but you know, in editing we'll see how it sounds and how it plays out. So kind of interesting. I definitely kind of want to do a follow up now just to kind of see, because everyone's using like this is good positioning. Maybe everyone else is bad, like. What was that
Good
Wraith
nemesis
doing?
shot.
That
Yeah.
Wraith just ran out in the open. Just threw them the round. Like, that's crazy. Now, I will say, if I was the Vantage, I would have already probably queued forward. But I'm also a psychopath, so there is that. They had the advantage. I think they should be pushing a little bit harder, but that's okay. I see what they're going for, though. Oh, try to get over. Just run through at that point.
Yeah.
I get what they're going for. It's a black and white movie. Did they not knock the... I thought they knocked
It's a
the Wraith.
noir film. No, they got him really, really low.
Don't get hit by the arc. Wow. Okay. Let's get hit by the
I
arc.
thought that
Standing
was
out in the
gonna do more
open.
damage.
What's very strange is we
Yeah.
saw them using great head glitches. Now they're just literally standing out in the open. Why are they
I do
doing
like
that?
the going up like this though, especially as Wraith.
Yeah.
Although the Vantage just kind of threw that a little bit.
Yeah, and then but the Watson hasn't run up, and the Watson's just
No,
been standing out in the
Watson needed to
open.
get
I'm internally screaming. Watson hasn't set any fences anchoring the hill, and hasn't even tried to use the hill as a head glitch.
Yeah, I mean, even if they weren't anchoring, why not just go forward or fence the door or run forward? I will give them kudos. They have good movement, and early on they clutch really hard. But for some reason, that fight, it felt like I was watching a whole different player. Like it just felt like.
Sorry to interrupt. Which team are you spectating?
Now
'Cause
I'm
it threw me
watching
to a random team.
Sneaky.
Okay, we're on the same one.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. That's lucky. Look at that.
Yeah, I was worried. That threw me
I
to a
didn't take
random
that
team.
into account. This person's running in. Got some aggro plays. I will say I've seen a lot more controller players than ever recently, which is why I'm kind of glad you're here, Crony, to kind of give some tips to roller players. Kind of add a little bit more of a bit of a dynamic there. Big damage. The Bloodhound, unfortunately, is cracked. Running out in the open, that doesn't make any sense to me. Look, that's a prime example of overextending and throwing for your team. Yes, they got a crack, but where's the jump pad? Where is the utility to get you
Octane
across? The Octane just ran right over. Fuse ultimate. Oh, they wasted it earlier. Never mind, I remember now. Oh, my word. Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, my gosh. What was that? What was that? Okay, some good stuff. There was a good smoke to cross, right? I don't know if they were trying to flex or if they were just overconfident in the fight what the melee was, and that spray was pretty rough. The other team overextended with the Octane. That was very strange. There's kind of like, hey, we know that we have the advantage, but we're going to throw because we don't care about our game.
I think the melee with the fat finger. If you watch the Bangs camera movement, they're on controller and they were like trying to turn faster so they could hit fire.
Maybe that's
Like,
what
they
it
just
was.
if they're
panic-
using
I figured it.
button puncher, if you accidentally click in your right stick, it'll melee. Or not button puncher, the default
Standard.
layout. If you click
Yeah,
in, yeah.
I feel like that's what happened.
Question for both
They
of you.
seem like panicked.
Do people still panic in the current rank system? Do you like I guess based on your friends, everybody you talk to, do you feel like people are still kind of getting nervous, despite their I mean, look, you're not losing barely any RP, so what's there to be nervous about? Do you still feel like people are nervous in fights?
My circle, I would say for the most part, not really. But we are also the same. I mean, we are the people throwing the evac towers, going from fight to fight. I wouldn't put it past the average player base to still be nervous in fight, because fights still are. I mean, Apex, even if the system's not great, what makes Apex is just the feeling of a fight. Like, it's hard to explain, but that is what makes this game so good. And I
Is the
still
minimap
think there
bugging?
is.
Are you sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Look in the upper left. Why is it moving? Do you see the white there? Is it moving for you?
No.
Okay, that is a
Could be a
strange bug.
spectator bug.
Yeah, that looks
Yeah.
really weird. I'm seeing the zone move, essentially, and also
no.
the mobile respawn is moving. Oh, it's like, what is going on? Okay, well, sorry, I didn't mean to distract. I didn't mean it's just a strange bug. I'm looking to see if they're in zone or not, and then I see it completely bug out. Oh, they're about to fight. Let's see if they make
I wouldn't
what.
put it past
Let's see if they
that
make the
people
same
get nervous,
mistake.
though.
Yeah, good. True. Sorry, I didn't even mean to interrupt. That's my bad.
Yeah. But that was the long-winded way of saying I wouldn't put it past people still getting nervous for sure.
My circles don't get nervous so much as they get tilted or brain off really hard and don't even try.
see if this team makes the same mistake as the other one where they just overextend. Also, the sharing of the door for so long, I don't know why a lot of individuals do that. I mean, you're kind of buying time, but you're kind of just... I think they lost track of where anybody was at.
Yeah.
They
have a digi, though.
They do.
Oh, they saw him. They missed him. Oh, there he is.
Oh. Huh.
The Bang and Blood are roller, but the Wraith is M and K, I think.
And then there's a struggle of where opponents are located with a lot of even quote-unquote current master players. I feel like a lot of people get lost in fights still. I have no idea what that smoke was. Is that just to let people know that they're down there?
It was a distressed player.
Okay, some positives I will say is that this Bangalore is really good playing with their teammates. I will say that smoke was almost a beacon that they were down there. Like, it just kind of screamed like... I would almost say they should have just smoked their feet if they were going to run up, if that was the case. That was a really strange play. And also locating and making sure you know where players are at all times. Keeping mental tabs, looking for little things. It's like playing Where's Waldo, essentially. People always say, how do I get better and how do I improve? It's like playing Where's Waldo. This person's almost a pred. 165,000 points. Getting there.
That feels bad.
Crazy, it's so high.
165k masters.
Yeah.
Care package over there. Let's get on that.
It's a lot of time played. And this is a difference, guys. You can put a lot of time played and get a lot of LP. But remember, time played does not necessarily equate to good gameplay. You can play incorrectly for thousands of hours, but being self-aware is always key. That's why I always call myself out. Remember last stream I was saying things like, I could have done that better, I'm going to go aim train. What did I do? I legit, that evening, I did go aim train and clean up some stuff. Because things could always be better. Everything could always be better. I could always land a better shot. I could always take a better angle. I could always position better. They're just running right out in the open. I mean, it makes sense because they have the angle. Whoa, 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 whoa. You got that. Nice. Kind of watching this pred player to see if there's much to learn. Or almost pred player. Good spray. I think they're on M&K. Maybe. They are pushing a lot more. I will say that. So one of them's got the flank.
Controller. They opened the box and weren't like jumping or anything.
You see, this is what I was thinking that we were going to run into. This team has white armors, okay? I saw that one of them had white armors. You should be rotating, go craft your armor. You should be fighting. You should be looking for more resources. Maybe it was more entertaining that we saw some of the better players, but what they're running into are players that are flat out just not playing. I almost consider that not even playing the game. You aren't actively trying to get resources, trying to occupy space. You did get to end zone, and maybe you got third place, but what did you do during your time? I think it's important as a takeaway, what did you do during your time playing? If you spent almost 90% of the time not shooting or occupying space, holding, looking at different angles and how to work your way in, getting more resources, being active, and you were just sitting there and almost felt like you could walk away, go to the bathroom, come back, and nothing would change, that is a place to be concerned about. It means that I honestly don't think that then you're playing. I almost encourage you to play, because I think a lot of people watching this are better than you give yourself credit for. I think there's this sense of, oh, I don't know, or I'm going to lose out on points. Don't worry about the points. They're going to come. It naturally, look, there's so many people who are getting masters, you don't have to worry about this split at all. Like, this team is hunkered in here. If this team has blue armors, I'm going to scream. Purple, okay, not bad. I want to see what the other ones have. Purple, okay. Purple, so now they've occupied space. That one has blue. Warning, big warning, that person had blue.
I'm pretty sure they just upgraded to blue.
Okay, that means they're on white. No, maybe they got an armor swap on the floor?
Yeah, there's blues on the floor.
So that means that they had blue. They had a blue and 2 purples. Meaning they probably crafted up, but if you're on blue, and this is endgame, you're in trouble. You can't beat somebody with reds. It's just not doable if you're equal skill level. Let's say you were at like old Western, you know, I'm setting the stage of it as a giant Western, and you saw somebody come out and you both had the same skill and you were duplicate copies of one another. One person had red and one person had white. The person with red is going to win. Statistically, that's just how it works. If you were there duplicates, everything was the same, right? So why put yourself in a scenario if we're all playing, you know, the similar MMR, right?
And that's the blue armor is I mean, how many times have we played ranked and we call, oh, they're on blue, just shove it.
Yeah, all the time, man. If I see somebody on blue
flag.
by like zone 2 or 3, I'm just pushing relentlessly because they don't know how to fight and they don't know what they're doing, or they're not confident and they're scared. There's all the list of things that could be wrong there. But I will say,
there's little cues that a lot of players don't realize they give off to quote-unquote good teams that just give those teams confidence to just shove relentlessly. So
I will say,
if you notice you're getting pushed just relentlessly, it's might be a sign that you're giving off some of those cues.
I will say that some of the caveats would be maybe you just got rezzed, and then I've had situations where we've shoved and I got put down. And I was like, wow, I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe that happened. Because I showed too much disrespect, right? But, you know, when I've coached some people, I said, there's rules to disrespect. I'm going to close out with these rules, okay? Rule number 1 of disrespecting. Is there a damage discrepancy? If you have red, they have white, and you've cracked them, there is a massive health pool discrepancy. You can push. Are they being third party? That's rule number 2. If they're being third partied, that means that you can roll up and not necessarily use positioning, because your goal is to get as many shots in and then take cover, because they're not looking at you next. And then rule number 3 is that if your teammates are pulling focus, this one's very important that I want you guys to step away with, and we're going to wrap up the video. If your teammates are doing damage and pulling focus, it is your responsibility to pull focus back or do something. At that point, it's better if you wide swing at that point, if your teammates are under that much fire. I'll say to a crony Nita, I'm like, I'm pulling so much focus, I'm getting absolutely demolished right now. Maybe I did 80 damage or something, but I have all 3 looking at me. If they're looking at me, they're not looking at them. That means they can surprise them, flank, take a shot, wide swing, run at them, and then I can go from my same peak spot and then peek and then put pressure again. But I wanted to end up on those notes. I think those are really, really good. I want to do this again next week. I'm sure we'll have Anita because she won't oversleep. But I do want to do another one of these. I had a plan to do other videos, but considering we ran into some really good teams, I think that I want to see if ranked gets... I don't know. I'm just a little surprised. Closing thoughts, Nix and Crony. I'll let you guys close off this and we'll say goodbye.
Yeah, we didn't run into like the hard rat teams. I will say, with the exception of that last team there, but it did take like a couple teams dying before we found that team.
Yeah.
Like the Watson team, the first one that we started spectating in this round. Like we said, they got that Wraith real low. The aggressive with space, like you can tell almost immediately the difference in aggression between that last team we spectated and the other ones that we spectated before.
As aggressive as they were before, I honestly felt like they were a little slow. Like the Vantage was a little slow. The Vantage did overextend later, but you didn't have the health discrepancy at that point. So why push? Yeah. You know?
Yes, but I'm like, compared to like the team we just watched that had the Horizon, Octane, Bloodhound, like they were much more aggressive on the space when we were watching them. And then the other team was, slow. The Watson was like way back. Like they went to try to fight, but they were just really slow, and eventually that's what got them killed.
Yeah.
So if I was somebody watching this and I want to figure out how to get to that last team we were just watching that just rolled like the last 3 teams they pushed, that's what I would kind of look at and focus on, is how much faster is their pacing compared to what I might be doing in my games.
Yep. Next, closing thoughts. Did you feel like you learned something from this?
I didn't have really a ton to say. I just feel like nitpicking on hitbox management. In that first fight with the Bangalore on the Mirage Tour,
yep,
you were praising them for their hitbox or their head glitch, but I felt like if they crouched, their hitbox like halves again.
True.
It was really driving me nuts when people are standing next to standing at a head glitch and then they wide peek it for some reason.
I think it's because they had a lot of
internally screaming.
I think it's because they had a lot of confidence. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I think there was the rule that if they felt like they had the jump on them, then you can disrespect by showcasing more space. I will say the Bangalore did make the mistake later of just pretty much getting wide swung by the other 2. And also they weren't using head glitches when they were in the building, and I felt like they got lucky. So I do agree with you. Yes, I think that...
I feel like part of it is this is the concept that myself as a player I've been very focused on and very conscious of every time I look at the game. It's like the major thing I'm thinking about and practicing. So that probably is part of why I'm so nitpicky about it, but that's like what I've been thinking of this whole time. The same thing with the Watson and the Hill.
Yeah,
like,
I was dying.
Felt like they were anchoring, but they didn't they didn't show any space there besides shooting.
And
They
sitting
could
out
have
in the
thrown
open.
any lackluster fences. They could have backed up a bit
It's
to
yeah,
head
it's
the
very
hill. They could have dropped Gen. Oh no, they already did that back at the rock that they abandoned, dude.
it's very, especially because it was a Watson too, and here's a little ego, little feeding of the ego for Daz here. But like yesterday when we played, Daz was on Watson all day, and Watson's an anchor, but Daz knows how to anchor, knows how to put the pressure and move up with us when we push, and like watching that Watson on that little hill there. Like I'm just sitting there internally screaming too, like, oh, they have to move up with their team. They're not enabling their fragger, because the Wraith. I felt like the Wraith did really good getting on that roof there, taking all that space, especially as a Wraith. They can queue out. Like I felt like the Wraith did really good for them.
Yeah.
They were not enabled by their teammates. Their teammates kind of failed them there, and
But
we
it was
were
interesting
spectating
because
Watson at the time.
to give them some positive praise, the movement was good earlier, and they were using the head glitch with the PK and using cover really well. It's just like all of a sudden when they're out in more of an open space, they didn't know where to position. It was very interesting to see the dynamic of being a monument. They knew how to fight, they knew where to fence, and then you put them in a different scenario, and all of a sudden everything goes out the window, and it looks like you're watching like a whole different player. It's very strange.
You know
I
what
feel
it
like
was?
they looked like
And
a
this is
deer in
something-
headlights player. Like they felt like they probably they might have felt like they needed to anchor, but also push the team. So instead of doing one or the other, they did neither.
True.
And this is
how I
something
feel
I've seen
about
a
it.
lot when I've done VOD reviews with other people. At Monument, they were a little bit in survival mode. 2 guys went down, they were cracked, and you go into this I cannot die mindset. And when people hit that mindset, they start playing cover appropriately.
That's a good tip
And
to
when
end
they
on.
pushed that team,
I like
they
that.
were all full HP. And when you're full HP, you're a little more disrespectful because you're like, I can get shot a little bit. But something that can be pulled over is always kind of have that mindset of I can die, and not to the point where obviously you play scared, but to the point to where recognize how you play cover when you're 1 HP compared to when you're not.
Yes. Wow, that's a really good tip.
Unbelievable.
I don't think I've ever even said that in a video. I think that's a really good tip. And I think we got to end right there because this is going to be one of my more longer episodes. So, Crony, Nix, thank you so much for hopping in today and making today's episode possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know if you want us to return again next week with this, because I kind of want to do a follow-up. You guys got to leave a like, comment, let me know. I'll know based off of viewership. If not, we'll delay it more towards the end of the month. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys all in the next episode. Bye, everybody.